Everyone, welcome back to another 2v2 battle with me and Surreal. We are playing as the greenskins. Whenever one of us chooses a greenskin to play when we're picking armies, the other one usually also chooses greenskins because, hey, we love being orcs. My army here is going to be led by another orc war boss on a boar. We have a shaman, 2 goblin big bosses in here, 2 boar boy biggins in the back, 2 night goblin archers for their poison damage, 2 goblin rock lobbers, 4 orc biggins over here, 1 more melee night goblin, 3 gobos in the front, a forest goblin spider rider archer in the front also, and that is going to be my army for the most part. And then for Surreal, his front line is going to be made of orc boys, backed up by 4 goblin archers, 2 additional goblin rock lobbers, 3 black orcs. I believe we have 2 orc biggins on the flanks over here, and then also 2 orc boar boy biggins on the flanks as well. He is being led by Grimgore Ironhide, who is where is he actually? Where's your little icon at? Oh, right, I forgot. He did not actually deploy him with his army before the match started. That's right, so he was left all the way over here in the forest by himself, because, you know, Grimgore likes to be a loner. Our opponents today are the Bretonnians and the Dwarves. Oops. And for the Bretonnian player, they brought a Knights of the Realm in the forest, 2 Pegasus Knights, a back line of men-at-arms, front line of spearmen, 3 peasant bows, a generic lord on a horse, which you don't see often, a paladin, and then 2 trebuchets over here. The dwarf player brought a whole front line of longbeards, a back line of dwarf quarrelers. We have Thorgrim Grudgebearer, which you don't see. Well, you can see him here and there, but mostly I'm just glassed on Ungrim. You also have a runesmith, and then back here we have an organ gun, a slayer, and a hammerer. Which this is all a bunch of scary stuff. And immediately, my goblin rock lobbers and Surreal's goblin rock lobbers are just going to start to unleash some terror on the enemy forces. I'm going to be aiming at the organ gun because that thing scares me. Especially because I want to come down off the hill. I don't really want to fight in the trees. So I want to fight out here, but out here is going to be a large open area for the organ gun to just kind of dominate everything around here. So I'm hitting that. I'm also sitting a goblin rock lobber after like long beards here and there, just trying to weaken their hit points. I'm not trying to necessarily crush a single unit. I just want to try to weaken as many units as I can with the goblin rock lobbers. But especially these organ guns. You can see they're already firing off into my goblins that were sitting over here. They were protecting this one area up because the idea was I wanted to swing down through the forest here, which is what I'm getting my army to do, and then hold any enemy here to try and protect my goblin rock lobbers, which are back here. But these gobos were in the line of sight for the organ guns, so I had to actually pull them back briefly. And then Surreal's forces are going to be marching over here towards my left flank, as I'm getting my army in position to fight these longbeards. And I want to try and get my cav, which again was back here. They're going through the forest right now. I want to get all my cav through this little narrow area and into the dwarven backline to silence these organ guns and all of these quarrelers. So that's what I'm trying to do right here. That's what this goblin big boss is doing. And when I was giving movement orders to my orc boar boy biggins, they were only walking and not running, which I didn't realize. So they take quite a while to get through the forest. Quite a while. And because of that, it delayed the rest of my army movement because I really wanted them to move out first because I didn't want to get them bogged behind my infantry. But I'm going to have to engage these dwarves right here because they're aiming for the side of the map, which will cut off my orc cav. So I'm going to try and keep the dwarf longbeards right here with my goblins. You can see these quarrelers back here are firing into these goblins, which is fine. They have a shield bonus. They'll be able to wear the quarrelers pretty well. And then finally I realized what was happening, so I issue another move order that is a run order with my orc boys. So they're going to be going around this line, just throwing in our goblin big boss into these dwarf longbeards, because why not? And you can see my night goblins are now pouring fire into these groups of longbeards, which is going to be poisoning them and dealing some damage. The arrow damage from the night goblin arrows are not that great, but the poison effect is pretty nice. Back here, my forest goblin spider rider archers got shunned away by all of the quarrelers. Before they can get into position, I wanted to get them all the way back here out of quarreler range, but they took a lot of shots and are now being chased off by these Bretonnian Pegasus Knights. My goblin big boss didn't make it, but they have taken a lot of damage, but I'm trying to get them into this organ gun to just shut them up, because now they are firing into Surreal's black orcs, as you can see, which is exactly what I was afraid of. Well, one of the things I'm afraid of. So we're trying to silence those. Up here, 2 dwarven longbeard units make their way up this hill into my goblins, very near my goblin rock lobbers. And Grimgore Ironhide himself is going to come over here to try and shore up my left flank as the rest of my army is doing battle in the forest against more longbeards. Trying to navigate my orc boar boy biggins around these hammerers and these slayers that are chasing them. This group of Orc Boy Biggins gets caught by the Pegasus Knights who are now being shut, or stopped by the Quarrelers. Right there, I tried to get my Orc Shaman to do the Fort of Gork on the Pegasus Knights because it would crush them. But my opponent was quick enough to actually maneuver out of it and fly back in the air. So that Foot of Gork just hits the organ gun, which, I mean, still does damage, but not... This was not my target. The Pegasus Knights were. So that was a waste of Winds of Magic right there. My Orc Boy Biggins finally getting free of the Pegasus Knights, going to charge into some of these Quarrelers over here. The other Orc Boys were chased off, I think? I think they were chased off by the Slayers. I think is what happened there. Meanwhile, the front line is still going strong. I'm pushing in my Orc Biggins into these spots where the Goblins are now retreating. My Orc Warboss is in here as well, dealing with these Hammerers. And I'll do what I can to continue to shut down the Organ Gun and these Quarrelers as best as I can. You can see Surreal's Goblin Rock Lobbers are just chewing through these Quarrelers over there. My Goblin Rock Lobbers are also going after the Quarrelers. Actually, they're going after Longbeards right now. They shouldn't be, but I must not give them another attack order. The Goblins and Grimgor, though, are holding really well. With the support of the Night Goblin Archers poisoning the Longbeards, like, the Goblins are actually holding. I'm assuming it's because the Encouraging Aura from Grimgor nearby, although they're actually pretty high, which is kind of crazy. By now, you think they would rout, but they are holding that line. Meanwhile, for Surreal's forces, he has engaged the front line of the Bretonnian player, the Spearman right here, and they are... the Orc Boys are kind of losing that fight. And over on the flank, the two Orc Boy Biggins, one of them is losing to the Knights of the Realm. I believe the Orc Boys can win the fight against Knights of the Realm. I'm not sure. Maybe they got charged in this case. I'm pretty sure this is an almost even fight. But in any case, there's two of them over here, so they're going to be able to overwhelm the Knights of the Realm. But they are being supported by the Peasant Archers over there. As you can see, the Orc Boys, again, are just kind of losing this fight against the Spearmen and the Peasant Bows behind them. Surreal's trying to march his Black Orcs around to get into these Peasant Bows. Meanwhile, getting shot at by the Quarrelers, who I'm trying to stop with my Goblin Big Boss. These groups of Boar Boys routed, and they came back. I'll get to them here soon. My Orc War Boss and this Goblin Big Boss are trying to take out this Rune Smith before they do too much trouble. And the Dwarven Longbeard line here is starting to falter due to my Biggins and just overwhelming numbers, really. Thorgrim is buried deep inside an Orc Biggin unit there, which is, I guess, fine for me. Goblins are finally starting to rout, but they have fought to the bitter end, which is, again, insane. They have not routed yet. Insane. Grimgor inspires much confidence in their surrounding troops, apparently. Back here, the field trebuchets have not really been threatened, kind of like our Goblin Rock Lobbers, so they've just been shooting Surreal's army with impunity. Nothing's been able to really stop them. Knights of the Realm, I think, are about to be routed off the field. But they have dealt a lot of damage to these Orc Board Biggins. Again, though, the Peasant Archers are also not helping the situation out at all for Surreal. Goblin Archers are coming into range to shoot off the Spearmen. The Goblin Archers have a range of 115. The Peasant Bows have a range of 160. So you definitely get outmatched if the Bretonnian Bowmen are firing at you, which they're going to be doing right now. Meanwhile, the Generic Lord and the Paladin are going to be trying to hold off these Black Orcs. Neither of these two units are currently armor-piercing. The Lord would be if they were on the Hippogriff, but on the Horse, they are just a high normal damage-dealing unit. So they would definitely be doing much better in this scenario if they were on the Hippogriff. Meanwhile, over here, we are still trying to kill the Runesmith, who is starting to fall. The Longbeards are falling. The Slayers that were hounding my Cav have come into these Orc Biggins and are just chewing them alive. But, luckily for me, I do have my Night Goblin still, and they are pouring in some much-needed damage and poison to these Slayers, so we're going to win this fight barely. And then Thorgrim Grudgebearer, we are finally going to be routing off the field with all of our Biggins. They were just too much for him to handle. Goblin Rock Lobbers are now basically out of ammunition because they've been firing the entire game, trying to shut down these Peasant Bows. And you can see my two Goblin Big Bosses who are a bit low in health, but still alive. And my Orc Boys are coming over here to try and assist Surreal in shutting these down. At the same time, Surreal's remaining Orc Boy group gets in here as well. Because these Peasant Bows, they routed... Everything you see running off right now was basically routed by these Peasant Bows. Those Goblin Archers got murdered by the Peasant Bowmen, which is going to happen if the bows fire their way. And it did. So they're now routing. So we needed to come over here and shut them down. And now I'm going after these Quarrelers, who I've tried to kill like 3 times already. They just refuse to die or rout off the field. At this point, I didn't go after the Trebuchets because I noticed that their ammunition was very low already. So I wanted to take out these other threats first and then the Trebuchets afterwards. They've kind of dealt their damage at this point. So I'm like, you know what? Let's just take out those Peasant Bows. They're still at like half ammunition, so they are a huge threat to us. You can see the dwarf line has now mostly been routed off the field, so all that's left is going to be the Bretonnian player. These Black Orcs are slowly losing to the Lord, but you can see how much damage they've done. Again, in this situation, also Grimgor finally showing the Black Orcs because his fight with the dwarves is now over. And again, if they were on the Hippogriff, the Black Orcs I think would have been routed a long time ago due to the massive armor-piercing damage of the Hippogriff Lord. But on this barded horse, not as impressive. Some of the orcs that were routing are now coming back from routing, which is great. And you can see now that the tides are turning here, and the Bretonnians are now going to be the ones to rout and in mass shatter. I think their lord just broke there at the end as well. But good game to my opponents and to Surreal. That was a fun one. Now, this map is definitely advantage, I believe, to I think it's the defenders start up here, because they have the raised ground, they have the forest where they can hide their army. The attackers are forced kind of out in the open. It's not impossible. Like, I've played this map as the attackers and have won before, but I would say the defenders definitely do get the advantage, which is another reason why I wanted to try and come down off the hill and meet them out on the open ground, because I don't really like to take advantage of the defensive terrain. Although I kind of did, because we had the Goblin Rock Lobbers up here, but I mean, so good game to my opponents and to Surreal. Quick thing about this map, it does favor the defensive. I think it's the defender side that takes this side. Maybe, yeah, I think so. Because you get to start on a raised area of terrain. You do get to start in the forest. Now, when I chose this army, I didn't realize we were playing on this map. But yeah, I did want to acknowledge that the defender definitely does get a advantage here, because they can put all their army into this forest right here, hide them so the enemy doesn't know what to do. The enemy, meanwhile, has to kind of deploy out in the open. If we were like playing as the Empire with just a bunch of cannons like parked up here, which you definitely can, that would be tough. Now, I've played as the attacker on this map in that particular situation, fighting against a lot of artillery, and you can still win. Like, it's not nearly impossible, but again, the defenders do have a slight advantage, which is why I wanted to try and come down off the hill and not force them to charge up the hill. Because I don't know. I don't want the terrain to really impact if I win or lose, is what I'm basically saying. But anyway, again, good game to my opponent since it's real. Let's take a look at the kill count. Not that impressive on the Orc War Boss. God, wow, 74 kills in this Goblin Big Boss. Holy crap. Murdered a lot of Quarrelers that day. Night Goblins, 66 kills. I didn't really show them off, maybe I will in the cinematic battle. But after the initial fight with those two Longbeards fighting my Goblins by themselves near the Goblin Rock Lobbers, I did throw in the Night Goblins as well. And they got 66 kills off of Longbeards, which is kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy. Orc Biggins did super solid. Night Goblin Archers did really well. They were able to shoot basically all of their ammunition. This group did really well. This one got sent off the field by the Slayers. Goblin Rock Lobbers, man, so many kills just because they were not threatened at all. Unfortunately, I misused my Forest Goblin Spider Rider Archers, and they got shut off the field really quickly by Pegasus Knights and just a bunch of Quarreler fire. For Surreal, his Rock Lobbers didn't get to do as much, but I think they were hounded at some point by the Pegasus Knights that were flying back there. His Orc Biggins, though, holy crap, look at all those kills. That's like Black Orc numbers of kills. Grimgor getting so many kills up there against the Dwarves. Orc Boys did really well. Let's see. Actually, the Black Orcs kill numbers are kind of low. At least the Biggins did really well, though. Goblin Archers get to do some damage before the Peasant Bows started opening fire and killed them in like 30 seconds. Boars did pretty good. And again, the Rock Lobbers. For our enemies here, Blank, Thorgrim, pretty good. Slayers did really well. They chased off one of my Cav units and then did a lot of damage to my Orc Biggins. The Quarrelers, we were able to try and shut down pretty well. We always usually had at least one unit kind of in the mix, and they were also getting hounded by the Goblin Rock Lobbers, so they did get to do some damage, but not nearly enough, or like they didn't realize their full potential because we were able to shut them down. The Hammer's 66 kills is not bad. They were fighting Orc Biggins and my War Boss for the most part over there on the on my right flank, and we luckily shut down the Orc Gun as well. That was a very high threat priority. Then for Designated Hero, the generic lore still got 45 kills. I'm guessing against the Black Orcs, which is not bad. Not bad at all. Paladin, 40 kills. Again, not bad. The Spearman line did really well. Men-at-Arms did mostly good. Peasant Bows shut down those Goblin Archers really quickly. The Pegasus Knights were hounding all of us, so that was really well. And like our Goblin Rock Lobbers, the Field Trebuchets were not really threatened, so they did... God, they did so many kills. So many. But yeah, anyway, let's watch this again with the cinematic view. Surprise, dwarves! That is a brave war boss. Or crazy. One of the two. So this is the fight where those night goblins are going to be thrown into. They're just kind of waiting off in the wings right now. This slow goblin war boss just never left these organ gunners alone.
Death to the enemy!
Oh man, the night goblins haven't been thrown in yet? Will they get into the fight at some point? I thought they were already in by now. Brave Thorgrim. There they go. These longbeards thought they were done fighting goblins. Nope. Got a second wave. Gonna be seeing a lot more night goblins in the future, I think, when that DLC hits. That Lord, man. That's a tough fight for a single Bretonnian Lord on a horse. There's where the Paladin starts to join him. Whew, an impressive entrance. Just barreled right through to get to his Lord. That was pretty cool.
Come on, lads! Get stuck in! Fight! Kill! Our lives depend on it! The lady demands blood!
The bosses are coming for you.
Fight! Kill! Our lives depend on it! Send them back to their hells! Quick, fighters!
Where are they going? Did they just route? Oh, okay. Yeah, they broke. Oh my god, the fight's over here. Well, at least the big boss stayed around.
By the lady, turn about! Kill that witch!
I believe their lord is... Yeah, they're over there. There we have it. Thanks for watching, everybody. Hope you enjoyed. I'll see you all next time. Take care.